On today, the 20th of March 2018, Count Dankula was convicted and found guilty under the Communications Act of 1988, Section 1, and of the Communications Act 2003, Section 127. This is the start of what I think will be a big attack on free speech, because currently, apparently, you can't make any type of jokes that offend Jewish people at the moment. You can't joke about Nazis, you can't joke about being a Nazi, but throwing around insults and calling an opposition person a Nazi is okay, apparently. At the moment, we've got hashtags going on Twitter, including hashtag grossly offensive and hashtag free Dankula. I'd suggest you carry on with this Twitter campaign yourself and send out these hashtags to every comedian you can find. I've already sent some to some comedians. I've even sent some to the UK Court of Justice, because what has happened to Dankula is an injustice. Of course it's an injustice. Everyone should have a right to offend, regardless of if what you are saying is helpful to society or not. Because a lot of things that are helpful to society are originally rather not necessarily offensive, but they're not well liked. Many examples of this are in science, for instance, such as plate tectonics. Many scientists were offended at the thought of the plates of the Earth moving around, but now it's just common knowledge. But back in the 1930s, that was seen as blasphemy, really. And so far this month, we have had Lauren Southern banned from the UK for speech that incites hatred, according to the UK law. And Dankula's case is even worse, as he has been hit with a court case that just includes... This is ridiculous. It just says that he was grossly offensive. How is being grossly offensive in any way justified to jail the man? Assuming he's getting jailed, which we don't know, and we don't know until the end of April. At the end of April, he gets his sentencing. He's released on bail right now, but any sentence is too much of a sentence. Hell, even getting let out on bail is too much of a sentence. But I hope you know, Dankula, if you ever watch this, we all have your back and we're all on your side. I think the worst part about this whole ordeal with Dankula is that the video had 3 million views. I'm pretty sure he's taken it down now. And yet there wasn't one complaint. The complaint came from, I believe it was from the Scottish Council of Jewish Communities, who say the Holocaust should never be joked about under any circumstance. And I tell them to piss off. I'm going to joke about the Holocaust all I want. And if the law stops me, so be it. I'm not letting them stop me. Because what I joke about is my goddamn business. It's not inciting any type of racial or religious hatred to joke about the Holocaust. Alright? It's just free speech. To tell a funny joke is protected under free speech. Or not anymore, but it should be. And it should be for many reasons. One of those reasons being that if you want to say something important, you're probably going to offend someone. Alright? Is telling a joke important? Well, in many ways, yes. You see, this is why court jesters were so good back in when we had monarchies and such. The jesters would make self-deprecating jokes, and those jokes would usually offend some people, but it would include the jester as well. And yeah, the king could execute the jester if he wanted to, but usually they wouldn't, and they wouldn't because they found it entertaining. And the jester's job was important to poke fun at the king, and he was usually protected because he usually did it in quite a funny way. If he didn't do it in a funny way, he'd probably be executed. But this is why we need important speech protections over jokes like this. Because what has Dankula done that's important with this joke? Well, if he wasn't arrested, nothing. But the fact he's offended someone has made us realise that free speech isn't what we have in the UK. And I think that's most important of all. We don't have free speech. As I've said, Lauren Southern kicked out of the UK for inciting hatred or tensions, I think it was. Inciting tensions. I don't see how words do that, but okay. Tommy Robinson was stopped from going to Hyde Park at some point last week. It wasn't the Sunday where he made the Martin Sellers speech, but he was stopped from going in because his past things he said make his presence unnerving to some people, apparently, even though presence and freedom of speech are perfectly protected under Constitution in Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park in London. And to be honest, I'd have the whole country as Speaker's Corner, because we have to discuss these ideas, and if these ideas are brought up by stupid jokes of the Holocaust, so be it. Because that's what he's done. He started a whole conversation about should the Holocaust be joked about, and should jokes be protected by freedom of speech. And the answer is unequivocally yes, but there are people who still debate that, and that debate still needs to be had, apparently. So let's have the debate instead of just jailing the person that made the joke in the first place. If he gets those 6 months in prison, there is going to be some sort of action going on. Because the Liberalists won't stand for this. I don't bloody stand for this. If I can... I believe a plan at the moment is to get a load of banners saying freedom of speech has been stolen or something along those lines. If they can be put up in every major city, anywhere legally, that would be insane. If you can put that across Buckingham Palace gates or something, that would be incredible. Because free speech has been attacked, and free speech is currently dwindling, and free speech has to be protected. Because if we don't have free speech, we're under tyranny, and being under tyranny isn't good. We need to be under some type of order, but being under the amount of order that stops people from making certain jokes, no. So, you're probably wondering what my answer is to this. Well, the answer that I'd have is to take out the words grossly offensive from these communications acts, because everyone should have the right to offend, even by posting a letter to someone. Like, there's no reason not to. It can get to harassment if they say too much, but I think it's up to people to handle their own feelings, and being offended is a feeling, and it is perfectly controllable. As someone who grew up in the UK knows, something is going to offend you at some point. I get offended when people don't make tea correctly and put the milk in before the tea bag, but, well, people won't go to jail for that if I'm offended over that. So, you know, who gives a shit? But to get these things changed in law, we first need some sort of real life action. And I think it's best if we get larger voices out there to actually help with us. And I think a lot of them will agree. If you send this out to comedians, hashtag free Dankula, hashtag grossly offensive, I'm sure they'll be on our side. Because Ricky Gervais, for example, he's always been on the side of Count Dankula. He doesn't even think it should be an issue. Just let the man joke. People need to joke. People need to laugh. And if people have dark humour, they have dark humour. Don't ban dark humour. It's stupid. But I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about this, and I'm sure Count Dankula will have his own video out about this, which will go into much more detail than this one. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that Count Dankula is pretty much more guaranteed to be risk at jail than he was before. The max sentence is 6 months in jail. I don't think he'll get that. He'll probably just get community service or something, but honestly, I didn't even think he'd get convicted. So, I take that with a pinch of salt, I guess. I don't think I'm going to be right. Everyone was wrong about Trump and Brexit. People are probably going to be wrong about this. In the meantime, thank you for listening, and goodbye.